Do you have a voice in your head that is so fudging loud sometimes? No judgment. The truth is, we all have the voice of the inner critic inside of our heads, no matter who you are. That relentless voice of, you should be doing more. Why are you doing that? You'll never make it. Take a breath. For today's Thursday Tickle, I'm going to be talking about the inner critic, and I'm going to be sharing some different ways that we can silence the inner critic, as well as what exactly the inner critic sounds like. Why? So we can really start to ease anxiety, and that way you can have more power and choice in navigating all of life's challenges and adventures. Hi, Uri! I'm so excited to be sharing with you some resources on navigating the inner critic. And the reason is I really struggled with having a loud inner critic. It put me in this place of self doubt and low self esteem. And day by day, I found myself slowly becoming more anxious, more overwhelmed, more in the space of racing thoughts where I couldn't be present in the moment. I found myself seeking external validation from my friends, my family, my boyfriends, my girlfriends at the time. It was really difficult to be in that space because when the inner critic is loud, what happens in our body is we go into a state of survival. Our fight, flight, freeze response gets activated because think about it. Do you feel safe when someone's telling you that you're an idiot or that everything that you're doing is wrong? Probably not. When that voice gets processed in our head and those first person statements like, I am unworthy, I am incapable, our brain and our body hear that as truth. It gets processed in a part of the frontal cortex where we hold that as a true statement. And as a result, we go into the space of survival. Our body tenses up and tightens up because, again, our fight, flight, freeze response has been activated. When the inner critic gets really loud as a result of our body tightening, we end up having a difficult time focusing. We might not be getting the right amount of sleep or proper sleep. It's going to have a difficult time focusing not only on the present moment, but our memory is going to start to get impacted as well. The reason is because the inner critic keeps us looking at the past and catastrophizing the future, allowing us not to be present in the now. But don't worry, I'm excited because I want to share with you one really big tip on how to silence your inner critic. And if you want more resources on this, please join me for day 2 of my 3-day challenge to mental clarity to help women calm the chaos of anxiety. There's a link in the description of this as well as in my bio. Now, the inner critic can be a little confusing because, again, no one really teaches us how to distinguish our authentic voice from the voice of the inner critic. So I want to share a couple of examples of what the inner critic might sound like, especially if we're in that space of, let's say, self-comparison. If we're in that space of self-comparison, the inner critic might say something like, you'll never be as successful as the people, as your colleagues. You'll never be as successful as your colleagues. That's a voice of the inner critic, again, around that idea of comparison. I mentioned catastrophizing because the inner critic loves to play fortune teller, where it is catastrophizing all of those future scenarios. Some examples might be like, if you mess up, if you fail at this, you'll never recover. Again, catastrophizing, worst case scenarios. Another great example of the inner critic voice is the fear of rejection. This comes up a lot for people because we as people just want to be loved and accepted by the people around us. So we inherently have this fear of being rejected, of not being included. Some ways that the inner critic might show up in that space of rejection is everyone is judging you. Now the thing is, the inner critic isn't your authentic voice. The inner critic is the voice of all of the past shiitake experiences that you've gone through. It is the voice of the teachers who told you that you weren't going to make it, the family expectations maybe that you had academically, the boyfriend or girlfriend who hurt your feelings, who said something dismissive. The inner critic is fueled by all of those past experiences. And it's loud, but it's not yours. The inner critic is not your authentic voice. The thing is, the head whispers. The head shouts. It shouts with fear, with pain, with anger, with hurt. Because again, the brain wants to keep us safe. So the inner critic is created as a coping mechanism for us to process all of the traumatic things that we've gone through. Now, the thing is, even though our head is shouting with all of these catastrophizing comparison things, if we can find ways to silence the inner critic, to drop out of the analytical mind and into the experience, into the body, you get to hear your authentic voice. You get to hear the whispers of the heart. And those are your true statements, your true sense of self. Okay, Des, tell me more about how to silence this person or this thing. Okay, so one thing that I really want to share with you that's really powerful in silencing the inner critic is validating yourself. Validating yourself allows you to feel seen and heard. I'm going to say that again. Validating yourself allows you to feel seen and heard. And you deserve to feel seen and heard, even if it's just you validating yourself in the beginning. I promise. Everything that you think and feel is valid, and it's for a reason. So one way to validate yourself is if you are, let's come back to that space of fear of rejection. When that inner critic is saying, everyone is judging you, finding a space to validate that, hey, inner critic, I get that you're feeling that. I get that you feel that everyone is judging me because of these things that have happened in my past. Connecting to your why can be such a powerful thing. Why am I afraid that everyone is judging me? Well, because when I was in middle school or in high school, this traumatic thing happened. I saw someone go through this experience of judgment, and I knew I didn't want to go through it myself. How different do you think your relationship would feel or look, not only with your inner critic, but with yourself, if you could validate all of the things that you think and feel? How different would your life look? Snoozed your alarm 10 times? Okay, why? Because you were tired, maybe didn't get a good night's sleep because you were feeling really anxious. Maybe because you stayed up late watching family movies because summer has started. When we are able to validate ourselves, we take us out of that place of should. Don't should yourself. When we are in that space of should, we stay in that space of stuck, of limitation, of anxiety, in that space of survival because we're criticizing and judging ourselves, feeling like we should have done something differently. And because we didn't make the right decision, we failed. We should have done this to succeed. A great way to step out of that should is to validate yourself. Should is going to keep us stuck in that space of shame, guilt, and survival. Whereas validating yourself is going to bring in that level of self-compassion and a deeper space of understanding. If you know that you snoozed your alarm 10 times because you were feeling anxious before bed, now you get to take action. What coping strategies do you want to start to bring into your nighttime routine to avoid feeling so anxious before bed so you don't have to snooze your alarm 10 times? What actions do you have to take to feel safe so that you don't feel judged? You get action. You get to take action when you're in that space of validation. And you're also, again, allowing yourself to feel seen and heard. I hope that you've enjoyed this Thursday tickle. These Thursday tickles are really meant to be short, poignant little times where I come and tickle you with information for your personal expansion. This is something that's really important to me because I know that we don't live in a world where we're always taught how to process these things. And I'm here to flip the script on mental health, anxiety, and all of these things that feel a little taboo to talk about. I want to make them fun and playful, and I want to give you action items. Because again, awareness is a beautiful thing, but without action, it's going to leave us feeling stuck, resentful, and it's going to fuel our anxiety. But not on my imaginary watch. So if you'd like some more support around this, please join me for day 2 of my 3-day challenge to mental clarity to help women calm the chaos of anxiety. There's a link in my bio as well as in the description. And if not, I will see you next Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard for our Thursday tickles. Bye, everyone. Bye, Uri. Awkward time where I get off live. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba. Am I off? Not yet.